Taga starts showing that he's nothing to play with. Bro thinks he's M. Bison. He thinks this is Street Fighter. So then he starts fighting the entirety of the gang, and they are not looking well. He starts speed blitzing them. He hits them with a black flash. Sends bro flying into the air. Hit him with a Shoryuken. It is looking bad for them. The whole squad is putting up Tony Snell numbers. They're putting up the Barto lineup numbers. These niggas might actually be worse than the Barto lineup. Nah, they ain't that bad. At least they managed to get a lick in. They managed to get their hits in. But these niggas are still ass because he murdered every single one of them. Got these niggas looking fraudulent. How are they putting up better numbers as kids?
It's Move the Lazy God, whatever you niggas address me as, and we have got something amazing to get in, bro. The leaked Avatar movie. Yes, sorry for the animators, but I don't give a damn. This movie was peak. Aside from Aang being a fraud, everything was peak about this movie. The animation, the voice acting, just everything, bro. The references and fan service, because there is a lot of references and there is a lot of fan service. So we start off with a flashback, or more of a dream sequence. We see Aang as a child, and he's in a race with his monk buddies with the gliders. But because he's the Avatar, it's too easy for him. He's technically done this 1,000 times over. So despite having an unfair advantage, he's having the time of his life. But to take away from that unfair advantage, Monk Gyatso drops down on his glider, weighing him down. So Aang, little silly, really wanted to win that race, but Monk Gyatso's trying to teach him a lesson that it's not always about winning. You're on a different level. You have a different responsibility as the Avatar. So then we just see what it's like when the monks were alive, and this junk is booming. This junk is thriving. They're moving different. Honestly, they need to show me more of this, but I only do when we get the chance, because the dream sequence starts getting crazy and everybody starts dying, and it's because bro's remembering the Fire Nation. Bro's remembering what they did to him and how he ran away. But just before things get crazy, he wakes up from the dream sequence. This dude still has PTSD from that event. He still has PTSD from running away. But he wakes up to Appa and Momo and feels a little bit better about himself. So bro goes into this temple because he's been carrying antiques from his airbending nation. But then some people pull up on him and they start attacking him. And these guys have to be the stupidest people ever. They're trying to attack the Avatar like they have a chance. These niggas is crazy. So they call themselves the Denied. They're basically a bunch of benders who don't have nothing to their name. They think they're the Equalists, but they are nothing like the Equalists. The Equalists were tough. Now they were scary, but these niggas, these some frauds. So we finally get to see Aang show out, and the animation is peak. These fake freedom fighters are not standing a chance, but at least we're getting some peak animation. But these crazy ass freedom fighters end up blowing up the tower. And bro, this is the most fraudulent behavior I've ever seen. Bro, you're telling me Aang has to go into the Avatar state to hold up a tower? Dude, a Toph lived up an entire library, and you telling me bro as an adult can barely hold up a tower? Bro, get this fraud out of my face. Keep this up and you're gonna get into invincible territory with this level of fraudulent behavior. Anyways, we get to the intro, and the intro is mad tough. It does the 4 guys, but it does them as kids, then it transitions into them as an adult. And it is so tough. And the animation is even a parallel to the original ones that they did in the TV show. I'm like, bro, so many references. Anyways, fan service aside, we have Aang returning to Republic City. It's not fully formed yet, but it is perfectly lit. They even got the person foaming out of the mouth with his son. How hilarious, bruh. Anyways, this lame ass nigga has to get his back healed once again, because he's still hurt from Azula, even like 1,000 years later. Still getting healed by his bae, by his wifey. At least the animation is completely tough. Like, the animation is too tough. So he starts whining to his bae about how there's no airbenders, blah blah blah. He feels left alone. Whatever. You should have got over this stuff by now, bro. I'm not even gonna cap to you. How is your emotions getting worse about this as you're getting older? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a psychopath. Sorry you're not Sigma, Aang. Anyways, even though Kantara urges him not to, he decides he has to chase after the Denied to figure out what they're aiming for. And it turns out the Denied have a map, while bro just kinda has to go with the flow. I mean, he's an airbender, so I guess going with the flow is kinda what he does. So he goes into the Avatar state to try and figure out who the Avatar is from that little statue that the Denied stole from him. So he goes to the objectively best Avatar, Avatar Roku, my goat, and you say anything otherwise, you're banned from my existence. So then he starts trying to ask every single other Avatar, and they don't know either. So he goes to this one Avatar who's supposedly supposed to be extremely wise and extremely intelligent. But as we see at the start, bro just comes off as a goofball. He comes off as an idiot, but it turns out he's
he's not as much as an idiot as he looks. He's like Sokka if he became an avatar. So it turns out bro does know who Avatar Sonam is, and basically gives Aang a history lesson on who Avatar Sonam was. Basically, she had a staff of godlike power that could give airbending to anybody, and the Denied are trying to get that staff so they can have that godlike power to give bending to themselves because they don't have any bending. So in order to take this trip, Aang feels like he needs the whole gang with him. Though if he wasn't nerfed and fraudulent, he could have did it himself. So bro sends a parakeet out to each one of his friends, and it starts off with Zuko. Zuko is at some boring meeting when he gets the letter. It immediately knows that the goofy letter is from Aang, because Aang is the only one that addresses him as Hotman. Then we cut to Sokka, who's trying to create an invention, and while he's creating the invention, he's telling the kids about his stories with Aang and the rest of the gang, but he's clearly making up a bunch of stuff because none of this stuff happened. Bro thinks he's putting in way more work than he actually did. So then we cut to Toph, who's training the next generation of earthbenders, and she's low-key not even training them, she's just kicking their ass. And anyway, she gets the parakeet bird message, but she can't read it, obviously. So one of her students that she was training reads it for her. So bro gets to the top of the mountain, barely, and sees somebody trapped in an iceberg. Nah, bro, you got somebody copying your whole flow, your whole swag, bar for bar. Then Aang does his signature slash, and yes, that slash is his signature move. He does it like every time. But anyways, he frees the person in there thinking that it's Avatar Sonam, but freeing the person also accidentally breaks apart the entire mountain. So now he has to play Temple Run, now he has to play Subway Surfers, Lose Your Life edition. He has to get off this mountain with the person while he's carrying a person before he gets crushed to death. And bro is struggling, bro. He trips and falls over like he's a white blonde girl in a horror movie, bro. So anyway, they're falling from the skies, but they ain't even that heavy, so they should have some air time. He starts jumping from rock to rock and tries to save what he thinks is Avatar Sonam, and bro is struggling so hard he has to enter the Avatar state, and bro still doesn't even make it out. The dude wakes up and he's an airbender, and his airbending is so strong it manages to hold up the entire mountain falling down on them, stalling just long enough for Appa to come to the rescue and save the day, like he always does. How did Appa even know where they were at? How did he even know they were falling from down here? It's not like Aang blew his whistle, which Aang still has, by the way. So they heal up bro, and this is when we figure out the gang is zesty as heck, bro. They're just talking about how handsome, sexy, and muscular he is. This is like when Thor got saved by the Guardians. So bro finally completely wakes up, and he sees the earthbender and immediately starts crashing out. So I'm guessing earthbenders were bad guys in his time, whatever. They're like, bro, you gotta chill out with that racist shit, we don't do that. So they're explaining to him modern times, and bro's like 1,000 years old or whatever, and he was the servant of his avatar, which was Avatar Sonam. So the overall goal remains the same. Find Avatar Sonam's staff, use its immense power to create a new nation of airbenders. So they use Zuko's airship, air blimp, whatever. They use it to get across to the staff, and Taga, forgot to say his name was Taga, but Taga uses his airbending, precision, whatever, to tell which direction they need to go. So Aang and Taga start trauma bonding, trauma dumping, whatever you want to call it. And the only way they can make themselves feel better is if they start airbending. And I guess Taga becomes his makeshift mentor, because Aang hasn't had one of those in a while. And bro starts teaching him a technique of using each other like a yo-yo. He starts swirling him around in the air. They've taken chain together to a whole new level. They're the best duo to ever do it. These dudes is really the new Shaq and Kobe of airbending, bro. They start floating in the air, twirling, holding each other's hands. These dudes are so zesty. At least the animation is tough. And they're just talking and talking to each other, but their sentimental moment gets interrupted by the Denied. They pulled up on them again, they spent the block, and now they're back for revenge. Even though they won the first fight, what are they spinning the block for? And Taga is not playing. He does this air technique around their blimps and crushes it. He's getting ready to take them out for good, but Aang is like, bro, we're pacifists, we don't roll like that, and stops them from falling out of the sky. But that won't be all they have to worry about. They also have to stop the tornadoes and clear the path for them. But Katara gets mad because they low-key abandoned them to clear the path. Taga takes the blame for it, but Aang still feels guilty. Honestly, I know it's trying to say Aang was in the wrong, but was he really though? He just cleared the path for y'all. Y'all really didn't need any help. Please don't start putting up numbers like the Just Ass League. So they make it to the island that has Sonam's staff, and Aang is way far ahead, way ahead of them. But all of a sudden, the sky starts to turn black, and Taga starts to chase after Aang. Katara pulls up on him, trying to figure out why he wants to see what Aang is doing so much. And it turns out, Taga's actually the villain. happen. Bro's mad racist to everyone that's not airbenders, and he just starts attacking Katara. So I'm thinking, he stands no chance. Can't Katara bloodbend without the need of a full moon? But she never bothers once to use her strongest move. Oh well, back to the basics, I guess. So they start boxing, they start fighting. Meanwhile, Aang is doing this little ritual or technique or whatever that he has to do to get the staff. And Taga starts showing that he's nothing to play with. Bro thinks he's M. Bison. He thinks this is Street Fighter. So then he starts fighting the entirety of the gang, and they are not looking well. He starts speed blitzing them. He hits them with a black flash, sends bro flying into the air, hit him with a Shoryuken. It is looking bad for them. The whole squad is putting up Tony Snell numbers. They're putting up the Barto lineup numbers. These niggas might actually be worse than the Barto lineup. Nah, they ain't that bad. At least they managed to get a lick in. They managed to get their hits in. But these niggas are still ass because he murdered every single one of them. Got these niggas looking fraudulent. How are they putting up better numbers as kids? So Aang willingly gives Taga the staff, not knowing he just murked his friends, because bro only cares about airbenders. He starts spewing out religious nonsense. He starts spewing out indoctrination. Well, he's not really indoctrinated, but he's trying to indoctrinate Aang himself. How can he try and say that? How could he have the audacity to say that after telling him he murdered his friends? Bro's saying it with full passion, and bro goes into the avatar state, and you think bro's about to put in work, but he just keeps getting bodied. He gets slumped all across the floor. I'm like, bro, get up. This is not my goat. Please don't make me slander you. You're not Green Lantern, bro. Get up. He's getting the invincible treatment. How did I manage to jump him and he still loses? Anyways, Aang gets sniped right in the avatar state, and you know what that does? It ends the avatar cycle. Bro's done for. Bro pulled up on the protagonist, talked mad smack about him, and then just walked off with the staff. He walked off with the MacGuffin. Hey, where's your plot armor? You're supposed to be winning. Man, this is why Avatar is not an anime, bro. Anyway, bro pulls off with the staff, and he snatches Appa. He snatches Appa like it's a chain, bro. So he pulls up to the Denied, and he offers them airbending. Meanwhile, Aang is talking to Avatar Sonam about how they failed or whatever, how they didn't manage to do whatever. And then as Aang starts talking to her, she fades away and he starts falling down an empty abyss that shows each avatar the avatar cycle. Yeah, he's gonzo. He got murked, but just before he can see the pearly white gates, just before he gets sent to Jesus, he gets saved by Katara again. Bro, how many rizzes is Katara gonna have to pop on the team, bro? She thinks she's Mercy. She saved the whole squad. Nah, Katara's low-key the craziest support, bro. She's low-key meta. So since Zuko's ship got destroyed, they never got the chance to repair it from that first fight with the Denied, which Taga was supposed to help them fix, but he ended up betraying them. So they need to get off the island to get back to Republic City. So Aang calls up his buddy old pal, the Ocean Spirit, and they get sucked into the Ocean Spirit's mouth and use him as a taxi. They use him as a quick travel, a speed travel, to get from one destination to another. And they didn't even bother animating this. They could have put like a loading screen like it was Marvel Spider-Man PS4 or something. And I'm not gonna lie, bro. Can't lie, the transition was tough. But anyways, the staff's magical, mystical power or whatever starts sucking in the spirit world into the regular world or whatever. I don't know. He got some Star versus the forces of evil shit going on here. They start transforming, turning into older and younger versions of themselves, which is completely ridiculous and hilarious at the same time. And I enjoyed every single moment of it. So Taga's trying to get to the staff on top of the building, on top of the mountain, whatever. But he has to fight the gang once again, rematch style. He has to refight them. And they are no match. They're still not ready for that rematch. This is Sephiroth up here, alright? This is big dog Darth Vader up here. He takes the cape off and it starts flowing. He thinks he's Piccolo. He's trying to aura farm. Just to reveal that he pulled up with the Denied. And Denied are airbenders now. Hey, if he could give them airbending, I wonder if he could give them something else. Whatever. He chose to give them airbending because he wants his nation back. And these dudes were already specialists, were already masters with weapons, but now they've added airbending to it. So these dudes are something like prodigies, like Zaire was when he got his airbending, even though he never was an airbender before that. I call these niggas fake fake ass Equalists, but now with their bendings, they're low-key like a fake Red Lotus. So anyways, they just start running, bro. They get on Appa and ditch out, bro. Straight back to Subway Surfer, straight back to Temple Run. So they decide to help citizens since they can't really do much to fight against all these people. Yes, they are fraudulent. Yes, they're worse than the Just Ass League, the Ass Avengers. These niggas are trash. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think they were putting up such great numbers as kids because they were low-key in Smurf lobbies. They were just going up against bots. They were going up against NPCs. That explains why they're doing so horrible as adults, because I'm not gonna lie, as adults, they should have cleared the board. They should have been an easy victory, SSS plus ranking. So anyways, Taga is just straight violating. He's putting belt tags on him. He has bro in his Goku shit. He has his gi tattered up, and bro's all tattered up, and Taga hasn't even hit his Dragon Ball transformation yet. Anyways, while they're fighting, Katara's fighting a 2v1, and she's low-key standing her own ground, but she's trying to fight the 2v1 while also trying to save citizens. But it's okay. The second person fighting her mind is wavering. She's not sure she's want to do this evil shit anymore. But before bro we make up his mind, we cut back to Aang, and Aang is finally starting to put in some work. Bro got the little ball that he had against Fire Lord Ozai, and he finally starts putting belt to ass to Taga. So we cut to Zuko, and Zuko's putting in work. And when did bro become so muscular? Oh well, bro is fighting like a 3v1, bro. He's getting that premium Jujutsu Kaisen jumping. So then we cut to Toph, and she turns herself into the metal person again. This fan surface is crazy. I think we even had the Cabbage Man appear. So she starts putting belt to ass. Honestly, she's putting in the most work. She squad wipes them by themselves. Guess airbending isn't really effective against metal. I'm not gonna lie, tell everyone else to retire. Toph can't carry this team. She's freaking LeBron James out here. But before she can retire, she gets blasted. And then they all get backed up into a corner. Then surprisingly, out of nowhere, Sokka comes to save the day from the sky with his little machine that he invented when he was talking to the kids. It's not really that useful, but it creates a decent distraction for them to get their standing. And they start fighting back. They turn the tides. They flip the table and start pushing them back. So the Denied decide that they're not even worth fighting anymore. They try and make an escape. They hit the Pokemon flee button. They got out of there. Why? Because the spirit world is destroying Republic City and they're not trying to go out with it. So Avatar is finally putting belt to ass to Taga. He's finally whooping him. But Taga, the moment he notices he's losing, he starts trying to use mental tactics. He starts trying to use Talk no Jutsu, and it actually works. It knocks Aang off his game. Now Taga's only goal is to escape. He can't handle him anymore, and he tries to get the staff on top of the thing so he can transform. And that's exactly what happens. He transforms like he's freaking What If Doctor Strange, like he's Supreme Strange, and the monster just comes out. That dog comes out. And while he was mostly putting belt to ass to him, we don't really get to see much of the transformation because bro uses his own yo-yo technique against him to put the staff on top of the thing, and then he gets his Dragon Ball transformation. And once he got his transformation, it was pretty much raps. He starts putting belt to ass on him. Bro was not ready for that work. Bro was not ready for the pause. But Katara's the only one that starts to notice that something's not right with him. Bro's losing his mind. Bro's trying to give him a fatality. He's trying to give him a brutality. He's trying to give him a finisher. He's beating him so bad, he started putting him into an injustice transition. He's giving him that premium Arkham Batman combo. But bro finally comes to his senses. With the help of Monkey Yatsu and all his friends, he decides to break the staff. And with the staff broken, Taga returns to the spirit world. And bro was so mad, he's crashing out. But right before he's crashing out, Aang gives him a saying or whatever, and he says it back because at the end of the day, at his heart, he's still an endbender. He's just really corrupted. So anyways, they return to Republic City and we get a bunch of fan service that I just absolutely love. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. I know it might have sounded like I was complaining a lot this movie, but this chunk was peak. I loved every single moment of it. And next, we're gonna do the Flash Paradox. But I'm not gonna lie, make sure y'all watch some of my older videos because them chunks are tough. I'll even recommend a couple that I think are low-key underrated. Alright, peace.
I know that the movie and it ain't quick. Don't get sad cause move didn't quit. You don't gotta get that in a throw fit. Just hit the sub button and I remember you. Just hit the sub button and I remember you. Just hit the sub button and I remember you.